Well, we begin with an historic day in Rome, the installation of Pope Francis.
Now, the new Pope called on leaders in all fields to protect people and the environment and to shun hatred, envy and pride.
Now, more than 100,000 people gathered in St. Peter's Square and millions watched and listened on television, radio and the internet. VOA's Pessin reports from Vatican City.
Pope Francis rode through the square on an open truck, greeting pilgrims from around the world who pressed forward to greet him. He stopped to kiss babies, and when he saw a disabled man in the crowd, he stepped down to give him a personal blessing. The ride through the square opened the festivities on a glorious spring morning. The new pope and the cardinals briefly went into St. Peter's Basilica, where he prayed at the tomb of the church's founder. Young priests carried the symbols of his office. Back outside, he was solemnly presented with the papal pallium and ring. He then led the gathering in prayer as the Mass began. In his homily, Pope Francis addressed all those who have positions of responsibility in economic, political, and social life.
Siamo custodi della creazione.
He urged them to protect nature and all people, particularly the poorest. And he said leadership and power are really about service, and that even the Pope should be lowly, concrete, and faithful. Some analysts may interpret his remarks as serving notice on members of the Church's hierarchy who have been accused of power grabs and misconduct, including the shielding of priests accused of sexual abuse. Many in the Church and outside are watching to see what the new Pope does about the scandals. Among them is Professor Robert Gall, an American who teaches ethics at Rome's Pontifical University of the Holy Cross.
The key thing, which is his personal stamp, which he specified already back in Buenos Aires as the Archbishop there in Argentina, was to never look away when there is a problem in the diocese, that the bishop is responsible for looking after especially the most vulnerable.
The surprise choice of the former Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina left many experts wondering how the new pope will handle his job. But those who know him claim to have a pretty good idea, including Argentine priest Eduardo Mangiarotti, who got to know the pope back home.
He's a person of action, and we're going to see not only a person who makes gestures in front of a camera, we're going to see a person of action here in the Vatican, so I think we can expect a lot of movement in that sense here in Rome.
But Tuesday was a day of prayer and ceremony, with leaders of the Catholic denominations from around the world paying homage, leaders of other religions paying their respects, and top world officials looking on. Still, Pope Francis has seemed to relish more the chances he's had to interact with ordinary people, an approach that is already a hallmark of his papacy. Pessin, VOA News, Vatican City.
We're joined now by Celia Mendoza of VOA's Latin American division. She's been following Francis since his election last week. Welcome, Celia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, now I guess the real highlight of the whole inauguration, it was his homily, the special mass, and he did mention quite a number of things here. He talked about humility, protection of the environment. Tell us how this helped to define him.
That's right. His name in itself is telling of what his papacy is going to be. The poor, being humble, being close to those who are in need. Just the words that he expressed today, talking to the world leaders about protecting the environment, is going back to Francis of Assisi, who was a saint, and he tried to reach out to the communities in more need, as well as trying to protect those that cannot defend themselves. And that's kind of what he said today during his Mass, and also through his actions. Since he was elected, he has made clear that he's not going to change his ways, trying to make sure to reach out to those communities who are in need. Like you mentioned in the story that you just had, he went and blessed a man that was disabled, a person that could not reach out to him physically. So the Pope Francis came and did it himself. those type of situations are showing you what is his goal, what he's going to do. And of course, coming from Latin America, he has known and he has done it for years, feed the poor, going to communities who are in need. And during his mass, he made clear that that's going to be something that he's going to do, and he's going to ask his bishops and every diocese to do for him as well.
That's right. And he also kind of reached out to the leaders, especially those who were there, and had a special kind of calling on them, or a special call.
That's right. This time we saw a lot of faces, a lot of people that probably hadn't been close to the Vatican before. Leaders of the Orthodox Church were there. And that's something that he is trying to harvest. Relationship with those that are usually not close to the Vatican, those who are from other religions, and even dictators, they showed up to give them the support. And I'm thinking what he's trying to do is make sure that he has a reform, that he has changed, and also that he is reaching out to everybody. He's not discriminating. And that's something that Francis of Assisi did. He made a reform from poverty, from humility, and trying to put aside away issues and problems that they have had. And I think world leaders have to pay attention a little bit to what his message is coming, which is change and unity and a world that needs peace.
Yeah, very quickly, this occasion obviously very ostentatious by its very nature, but did he manage to still kind of exemplify the simplicity of his, himself and how he wants his papacy to be seen?
I believe so. Just the fact that he's not using the red shoes. Remember, a few weeks before the election of the new Pope, everybody talked about the red shoes that just the Pope can wear. He decided that he doesn't need the shoes. He's trying to show people that the church goes farther than the shoes or the gold or all the luxury that a Pope can have. And that's something that he's establishing.
Well, thank you very much, Celia. And that was Celia Mendoza reporting from New York.